I'm delighted to welcome you to NTU Singapore. Where you spend the next few years of your life is one of the major decisions facing you. So my one piece of heartful advice, please choose the university that offers the best fit for you. Many universities may look similar, but here I would like to outline for you NTU's distinctive strengths and how it differs from the rest. The COVID-19 pandemic has reinforced the role of universities in providing critically needed and timely information, scientific know-how, and support to policymakers and governments. We aim to be a great global university founded on science and technology, nurturing leaders, and creating societal impact through the interdisciplinary education that includes humanities, the arts, social sciences, business, and medicine. To accomplish this goal, we launched an important initiative, NTU 2025, which is our 5-year strategic plan, earlier in January this year. NTU 2025 will establish specific pathways and initiatives to strengthen NTU's 4 core pillars: education, research, innovation, and community. Educating and training the next generation of thinkers, innovators, leaders, and lifelong learners is central to our mission. We will intensify our focus on interdisciplinary approaches across both education and research, and expand holistic learning opportunities for students through a variety of mechanisms. These include new interdisciplinary programs, new approaches for industry internships for all undergraduate students starting this year, new learning spaces and models that tap into advances in the science, art, and technology of learning, new industry-relevant, modular, continuing education course offerings. Set to nurture leaders with character, competence, and cognitive agility, a carefully designed interdisciplinary core curriculum will be launched later this year to emphasize digital literacy, teamwork, communication skills, experiential learning, and global citizenship. We will equip NTU students with the skills and knowledge necessary to thrive in a rapidly changing workplace and in rapidly changing living environments to be future-ready graduates. Looking beyond grades, NTU offers many programs outside of the classroom that provide experiential learning. Your development will not be confined to academics. You will also grow as artists, musicians, athletes, and socially engaged citizens. Research and education activities will be integrated more closely, giving students increased opportunities to engage in research and creative work in their undergraduate journey. On this campus, you will find industry leaders such as HP Inc., Rolls-Royce, and Volvo conducting cutting-edge research and technology development together with our faculty, staff, and students. This research also tackles some of the most complex challenges that society faces in such areas as sustainable energy sources, aging, food security, cybersecurity, and climate change. Last month, as you may have heard, scientists in NTU reported that they have created a way for humans and plants to communicate with each other. This research opens the door to new technologies that make use of plants. So please don't be alarmed to see some students or even professors talking to our trees on our beautiful campus with lush greenery. This seemingly unusual behavior could be part of groundbreaking research. As a leading provider of continuing education, we will help students navigate through the dynamic changes in the workplace and develop a mindset that prepares them for lifelong learning. We aim to share NTU's unique strengths in educational research, EdTech, science of learning, and pedagogical techniques through strategic collaborations with other institutions. In the coming years, my colleagues and I look forward to supporting your intellectual pursuits, nurturing your success in your academic achievements, as well as extracurricular pursuits, and learning about the social issues that inspire you to action. At NTU, you will learn, live, play, and build lifelong memories and friendships in a beautiful and welcoming campus, which is a small city. I invite you all to participate in this extraordinary journey. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. The Earth says hello. Welcome to the e-Open House for Nanyang Technological University's School of Physical and Mathematical Sciences, also known as SPMS. Woo! We are here with the Mathematical Sciences Division, also known as MAS. Woo! So compared to the virtual open house session that we had earlier on in February, this e-open house will be a slightly more chill, more casual version, and most importantly, it is an invite-only session that is specially curated for all you prospective students. So we're currently at the green screen studio. It's really cool. It's how Avengers act out all their scenes. You guys can't see it, but that's the whole point. Anyway, moving on. My name is NJ, the co-founder of a science channel called Just Keep Thinking, and it is my pleasure to be your MC for the day. Alright, it's okay. I hope you guys had your lunch. Some of you are probably eating in front of the computer. Please don't spill your food. So with a full belly and a happy heart, hopefully this will be a rather informative and mildly entertaining session for the next 1.5 hours. So let's get right into it. Speaking about mathematics, other than it being numbers and calculations, I didn't know what else it could be from my perspective. And I can only remember Tuakaso. Okay, that's all I remember. I'm sorry. And I only keep thinking that we can only become a teacher after, if you studied math, especially in university. But I remember the exact moment where my impression of math changed completely. So I had a friend who studied statistical math, and she was able to predict some lottery or horse racing thing, like just from her skills that she learned during her math in her university days. And I was so impressed, and she was like, it's math. So I hope to learn more about how relevant math is in our world today, starting off with the first speaker of the day, Associate Professor Chan Song Heng, who is also the head of the MAS division, and he will be giving a general overview of what MAS is about. Also, if you guys have any questions along the way, you may type your questions below so that we may answer them during our Q&A session later on through Slido. Or you can also type your questions via MAS Telegram channel at NTU_math with AS. I have to say it this way because if you realize it's very hard to pronounce math with AS, math. So yes, at NTU_math with AS. Without further ado, let's get the ball rolling by inviting Prof Chan to speak. Prof Chan, you may begin.
Hi, I'm Chan Song Heng. I'm the head of Division of Mathematical Sciences. I'll just give a very brief overview of my division. So our School of Physical and Mathematical Sciences was founded in 2005, under which there are 3 divisions, one of which is the Division of Mathematical Sciences. So the picture that you see is a picture of our building, which was completed in 2008 and officially opened in 2009. So it's still a very new building, and we have been constantly upgrading and doing minor renovations here and there. Whenever we identify some of the new needs that we have for the school, the students. For example, one of the rooms was recently renovated to become a student lounge because we realized that we need a space for students to relax after classes, so that or they don't get too stressed out, and there's a nice place for them to hang out. Currently, our school has 35 faculty members, which is a lot compared to when we first started, which was about 10. We are still continuing to grow, and we are identifying new areas of research that are relevant and upcoming, and we are constantly growing and bringing in new faculty members. We have a PhD program, and we have approximately 10 students. We recruit approximately 10 students per year. For our undergraduate programs, we have about 150 undergraduates per year. These are under 4, and we host 4 undergraduate programs. There are also 2 programs that we co-host with other schools. My colleague, Prof. Ng, will talk more about the undergraduate programs later. I just thought a little bit more about our faculty members. So we have faculty members from all over the world. Of course, we do see that the majority of us are actually from Singapore. Okay, we have representations from almost every continent, of course, except Antarctica. In terms of research profile, we cover almost every research topic that you would be interested in. So these are perhaps this might be not so familiar to some of you, but if you've read up a lot about mathematics on your own and you have been interested in certain topics, you might find some of these terms familiar. But not to worry if these are completely, some of these terms are completely new to you. I just highlight 2 research groups in my division. One of the bigger research groups is a probability, statistics, and financial math group. So there are 7 faculty members, and one of them, Prof. Nicholas Prevost, which is the picture that you see right in the middle. So he's one of the speakers today, and he'll tell you more about financial mathematics. The other big research group that we have is a coding and cryptography group. It's actually one of the biggest and strongest groups in the world. The third picture from the left that you see is actually the provost of NTU, Professor Ling San. My colleague Andrew Kraker will talk more about, will mention a bit more about coding and cryptography later in his talk. So I was mentioning that we have constantly been growing and identifying new areas of research. So I highlight here that Professor Juan Pablo is one of the leading experts in dynamic geometry and learning, and he has just recently joined us in March 2021. And we have also recruited Professor Philip Harms, who just won the Singapore National Research Foundation Fellows, and he'll be joining us next year in January. So that's all for my very brief overview of the division. I hand over the time back to MJ.
Thank you, Prof. Chan, for the sharing. I would like to ask a few questions about what you're studying actually, what you've studied. So you specialize in number theory, which I thought was really interesting. Perhaps you could share a bit more about what it is and why does it fascinate you?
Well, actually, if you do know, number theory is actually known as the queen of mathematics. So there are many problems that are very interesting and very famous, and unfortunately very, very difficult. So some of these that you might have heard of, Fermat's last theorem, Riemann hypothesis, or Goldbach conjecture. So the Fermat's last theorem took a few hundred years to solve, and the other 2 are several hundred years old and still remains unsolved. So in terms of number theory, it could be usually we think of them as the traditional topics like analytic number theory, algebraic number theory, enumerative number theory. But these days, even if you are working on some problems that are some tools that actually solve number theory related problems, you can also classify yourself as a number theorist. So, but I think these are more in terms of research topics that are beyond the undergraduate level, which I think you might get interested when you come and study with us.
Thank you, Prof. Chan. So if you guys would like to solve one of the world's biggest math theories, consider joining NTU Math. All right, moving on. Next up, we have Associate Professor Ng Keng Ming, who will be sharing more about the curriculum aspects of MAS undergraduate programs. Basically, what you have to potentially mark for the next 3 to 4 years. Prof. Ng, whenever you're ready.
Okay, thanks MJ for the introduction. Hello everyone, my name is Keng Ming. I'm the Deputy Head of MAS in charge of academics. So if any of you in future become our students and you have any need for advice or problems with your coursework, you can just feel free to approach me. So today I'm going to share with you some of the highlights regarding our program. So I'll be more program specific. For those of you who actually joined us for the virtual open house in February, I actually talked about also some aspects of our program, but there was more high level. So today I'm going to go a little bit different. So I'm going to share with you a little bit more details about the program, as well as I'm going to also focus on the benefits of our program and what it can do for you. So I understand that many of you are prospective students who may have already been offered a position in one of our courses, and you may be considering your future. So just to start off, just quickly, reasons to study mathematics. As MJ has pointed out just now, it was a misconception, or rather a perception in the past that if you want to study mathematics in university, then you don't really have much choices after you graduate. You probably have to be a teacher. But this perception is actually shifted now. Actually, more importantly, the industry also has changed the perception of how they view mathematics graduates. Mostly with the advent of this needs for data processing and basically just everything going digital. So here are some reasons today that you may want to consider studying mathematics. First of all, there's just this one of the more important reasons is, of course, you learn problem-solving skills both at the technical level as well as the non-technical level. What do I mean by that? You of course will learn precise technical mathematical methods, modeling methods, for attacking a variety of real-world problems. But also more importantly, what our curriculum does for you is that it trains you to think critically, analytically, and creatively, and this definitely will help you, in your future problem-solving methods. Secondly, we have also focused a lot on transferable skills, and this is a promise. If you heard President Subra Suresh opening speech about this new curriculum or the interdisciplinary collaborative modules. So we want to impart graduates or our students with a variety of soft skills to attack the problems that humanity may face, in particular in the industry also. So like for example, things like computing skills, data analysis, and so on and so forth. These are all skills that you can expect to pick up along the way. Okay, and the third reason is, of course, that mathematics being a universal language is the basis for solutions to almost every problem in every niche and area. So therefore, virtually every career requires it. It is very difficult to think of any industry or career that can claim to not require any mathematical skills at all. That's very difficult. So virtually every career requires it. And what does that mean? That means that with a mathematics degree, it is actually going to open up a whole, a very wide range of professional fields, possibilities for your career. No more just being confined to perhaps the education sector. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Of course, there are many of our students who actually join our program with the sole intention of becoming a mathematics educator in the future. But this is just, it is just going to be one of the many career choices. So with a math degree, I just listed out some of the sectors which are which are the bigger employers of our graduates. This is of course not an exhaustive list. For instance, the finance sector. A lot of our graduates go on to, like banks or maybe investment firms. Also the insurance sector. Some of you may be interested in actuary. and as well as various forms of risk and risk management. Also, statistical analysts, so a lot of these government sectors, and StatSpot needs an analyst which produce reports and analyze data and so on and so forth. Supply chain and logistics, of course, with the recent surge in the need for online shopping, food delivery companies, all of these companies are, they require, so they do more than just shipping things to you, because what goes on behind the scene is a very complicated mathematical problem where they have to optimize, their resources and the delivery routes and stuff like that. So yeah, so this is also an emerging industry which require mathematical skills. In fact, in recent years, Shopee actually is one of our companies that hire a lot of our graduates. Okay, and for those of you who may be considering or are interested in a more IT or computing-based industry, that also is possible. A lot of our industry of our students also go on to become programmers, data analysts, data scientists, and so on and so forth. And our curriculum also has got also covers these aspects. Also, the related cybersecurity, internet defense, and of course, this is one of the if you've heard about recently, the Singapore government wanting to push out this sector also. And finally, also last but not least, the education sector. And some of our graduates also go on very successfully to get further studies in mathematics. Recently, one of our graduates got offered a PhD at Oxford in mathematics. So yeah, so that's the extent to which the mathematics degree can do for you. Okay, so let's think a little bit about the highlights of our program. So how is our program, in particular program of mathematical sciences at NTU, how is this different from other mathematics program elsewhere? So I've listed down some points. First of all, our program is flexible and customizable, and as Prof. Chan has said, we actually have host 4 different programs and co-host 2 other programs. So I'll talk a little bit about this very soon. But basically, our main program also is flexible and customizable. So there's a whole host of different combinations that you can choose from, depending on your interest and how you may want to think of planning your career in future. You can choose, customize your plan, your program, in that respect. Also, NTU in general is very focused on getting our graduates ready for the workforce. So we're putting a lot of effort in designing our curriculum and our student experience towards this. So we actually focus very much on preparing our students for the workforce, and part of this is to empower our students by engaging them in digital literacy. So you can expect to learn a little bit about programming and just generally IT. We also have very strong industrial connections. In fact, NTU is one of the pioneers actually in recognizing that it is internships and work opportunities are very important for tertiary students, even back when it was not so fashionable for this to be the case. So we have very long-standing relationships with industrial partners. So we have actually a career office, which is actually in charge of helping students to match you to a company if you want to do the internship. So yeah, that's one of our strengths. We also have very dedicated faculty. As you can see here, there's a couple of us here already. We are very friendly, I hope. And we actually, more importantly, we also, our division and our school actually focus on revising our pedagogical methods. So we don't use the same slides for 20 years, for example. And we try to keep up to date with our teaching methods. So that's one of the plus points I would like to think. And also, for those of you who want to seek a challenge, maybe you want to have advanced versions of courses and stuff like that. There's also opportunities for you to go beyond what is in the coursework. But of course, I will not talk so much about this. But of course, I will let you know if you have questions. You can of course discuss with me. Okay, and maybe this last one is not so relevant to you at this point, but we do have a world-class faculty in research, as Prof. Chan has pointed out in his opening speech. But this will definitely come in in your third year maybe, and your third and last year if you are thinking of doing some form of research. Okay, so the next part of my talk, I want to focus a little bit on the curriculum. So just so that you know the details of what you can expect to be taught if you join us. So our program is a 4-year program with direct honors. What this means is that at the end of the 4 years, you will get an honors classification just based on your graduating GPA. The higher, the better. So this is an overview of all the programs that our school, our division is involved in. So we are involved in 3 double majors. On the right, we have the double major in Math and Econs, Math and CS, and Math and Physics. And we also have our main program. On the left, you see we have our main program in Mathematical Sciences, and as well as Mathematical Sciences with a minor in Finance. We are also in partnership with 2 other schools, in 2 other programs, the Data Science and AI with the School of Computer Science and Engineering, and the Econs and Data Science. Some of you here who are here today may also have been offered one of these 2 programs. Okay, so for this talk, for the curriculum aspect, I'll be focusing more on our main flagship program, the single major Mathematical Sciences. So basically, in this program, you will have to take a number of courses, and each of these courses will be divided into a number of different baskets. So first of all, there's the ICC courses, which are the interdisciplinary collaborative courses. And there's 7 modules in this basket, which ranges over stuff like career courses, a digital literacy course, things like science and technology for humanity, so just a range of very broad-based courses, which are meant to impart a variety of soft skills for you. And the next basket is basically the mathematics core courses, which are courses that are compulsory for everybody. And there's a total of 15 modules taken in your first 2 years, followed by the mathematics elective courses. And for this list of courses, you do have a choice. You have to take between 5 and 8 modules out of a list that you can select from. So the mathematics core are 15 compulsory modules. You have no choice. But for the elective courses, you have a choice of picking 5 to 8 from a given list. And finally, there's the broadening and deepening electives, which are really just also called unrestricted electives, in which you can actually pick a course from any course, almost any course in the university. So just not just math, you can pick from science, chemistry, if you like to do sports science. Language courses are very popular with a lot of students. The Korean courses are very hard to get into. Korean language courses, for example, maybe you like to do psychology. So under this category, you can customize your education. You can decide to do almost any course, and this is usually taken in 3rd and 4th year, although it's not restricted, because usually in the first 2 years you are busy clearing other stuff. Okay, and as many of you know, there is this compulsory internship under the new curriculum. So I will say more about this later on, but it is available to students after the 2nd year, 2nd semester. So primarily in the 3rd and 4th year. And the program total is roughly 36 modules. Of course, this number is not exact. It depends on what kind of modules you take, but it's roughly 36 modules. Okay, so let me just say a little bit about the timeline. So in the first 2 years, you will take core courses as well as the ICC courses. So these are the courses that you'll be have to take. And the reason you have to take the core courses in the first 2 years before other courses is because these are usually the more basic courses, and other courses, elective courses, will usually depend on them. So you'll be doing them first. And after your first year, this is the highlight of our single major program. You actually have a choice of one of the 4 tracks. So coming back to our program being customizable, you can think of which of the tracks of specialization suits you. So the 4 tracks are the applied math track, the statistics track, the business analytics track, and the pure mathematics track. So I will say a little bit about this on the next slide. So and then 3rd and 4th year, there's once you have done with your core courses, you have now the Now you have the freedom now to go ahead and express yourself. So you can choose from a host of different experiences, such as the overseas exchange, the internship program, final year project, and as well as other research projects, and your unrestricted electives. So that is a lot of exciting things going on in the third and fourth year. Okay, so let me just quickly talk about the core courses. In the first 2 years, these are the list of the 15 core courses that you have to take from mathematics. So you can see in the first year, you have 2 calculus courses, 2 linear algebra courses, and there's also a programming course, PS 0001. In the second year, you have further more advanced courses, as well as the second programming course, PS 0002. There's also 2 track courses, which will depend on your selection of track. So these are roughly the 15 core courses that you are expected to clear in the first 2 years. Okay, speaking of the track, after your first year, you actually have the choice to select between one of these 4 tracks. So in your first year, while you're taking those courses, you might like to think about how you want to chart out your future. Some people choose their track based on their interest. Some people choose their track more strategically based on what they think, what kind of career they may want to choose. But personally, for me, I think you just go with whatever suits you. So we have the applied math track, which basically is a track in which you will be taught to specialize using mathematical tools and modeling to solve real-world problems. Okay, so our courses, I'll quickly show you a list of elective courses later on. In the statistics track, you have basically, for those of you who like numbers and like to make sense of numbers, the statistics track may be for you, in which you will be taught to specialize in analysis, interpretation, and presentation of data. And just a hint, statistics is a little bit more than just finding the mean and median of a data set. The third track is the business analytics track. This is also quite popular. Business analytics, for those of you who are not familiar, is basically just a discipline whereby you will use tools from analytics, data analytics, with a particular focus on helping businesses drive their businesses, giving them insights to drive their businesses forward. So it's basically kind of like data analytics plus helping businesses make money. And the last track, for those of you who are more purists, who would like to take a step back and study maybe more abstract stuff or more of the theory, pure mathematics may be for you. So here you study abstract mathematical concepts, objects, structures, and theories. Okay, so here are just a list of elective modules. Of course, I don't expect you to see all of them, but just like a list of, just to give you an idea of, like, for example, in the stats track, you have stuff like statistical analysis, such as time series, multivariate analysis. You also have a range of optimization modules, for example, and some programming modules. For the business analytics track, because of the collaboration with the business school, there's a basket of business modules. The first 3 modules you can see up there are business modules in which you have to clear, as well as a range of statistics courses, as well as some programming courses. Okay, so on the applied math track, remember the applied math track is all about focusing on developing and learning about using mathematical tools and modeling to solve real-world problems. So there you expect to learn about things like cryptography, computational economics, and various optimization courses, and also things like numerical analysis. So if you like or if you have heard of this stuff, then you can consider this track. And finally, the pure mathematics track, you can see the spacing is a little bit wider because there are fewer courses in this track. But there will be enough courses for you to choose from. In particular, you have studied more abstract stuff such as algebraic topology, differential geometry, if you have also heard about these things. Okay, I'm just quickly talking about a double major program. So a double major program structure is slightly different from the single major. For the math and econs, it's jointly run with the division of economics. Math and computer science is jointly run with the School of Computer Science and Engineering. For math and econs, we actually want to teach students how to use mathematical tools and modeling to make economic decisions, and as well as analyze the economy to make policies. For math and computer science, we are looking out for students who want to work at the interface between computer science the interface of computer science and math, who want to solve problems that require a strong training in both mathematics and computer science. And the third double major, physics and mathematics, we are looking out for students who want to apply computational and analytical skills to solve problems in the natural and physical world. But the double major programs, I think, are kind of speak for themselves. Okay, so in the last part, I want to discuss our second benefit, our promise to you to get our students to be workforce ready. So there are a couple of aspects in which we can do this. First of all, we recognize that computing skills are a very important and a very fast emerging set of skills that a lot of employers are requiring now from the people that they recruit. So we have 4 compulsory courses which deals with programming directly. So the first course is an ICC course, and the second course and the third course will use the Python and the R programming. And the last course is a second year course is Algo and Computing, whereby we will use Python. Once you clear these 4 courses, you can then go on and select as many or as few of the elective courses that do have a programming component. But in these elective courses, we will actually be using programming with a more focus on the particular application in that particular course. So, so that there's a lot of chance for you to pick up some programming skills. Okay, so for the internship, I've received a lot of questions from some students. As you know, starting from this intake, all NTU students will have to do a compulsory internship starting from this intake onwards. So for math for math students in the main program, you have a choice of doing either the long internship 20-week or the short internship 10 weeks. So the difference is the short internship is going to take place over the summer break from May to August. So it doesn't eat into a semester, but the 20-week internship will take place during a regular semester. It's over 20 weeks. So of course you get different credits for them. If you choose to do a short internship instead of the long internship, you of course will have to make up for the remaining weeks in terms of other coursework. So yeah, so again, it's up to you to customize yourself how you want to decide your internship experience. For double major program, due to the program requirements, you don't really have a choice, and the internship duration is fixed for you. Okay, and these are some of the internship companies that our students have gone on to do. So you can see that we have government-linked companies, companies in the private sector or MNCs, as well as banking and finance. So it's really a whole, how do we say, a selection, a whole range of different industries and companies that see that actually the value of our students. Okay, if you think that you want to do, if you think that the 20-week internship is not enough for you, you want to go all out, to have this experience, then we have this program called the Co-Operative Education Program. It's actually kind of like a work and study scheme. And here actually, just in short, you actually will spend 50 weeks, not just 10, not just 20, but 50 weeks at the company. But this is obviously going to split over 3 work terms because you actually still have to fit into the semester. But unfortunately, this program is only open to math students in the main program and not open to double major and CN Young Scholars Program or the USP program. So obviously the benefit is that you really have very much in-depth internship training for a better career start. Okay, so the last thing I want to say is that this overseas exchange, I think, is also a highlight of our program. In the overseas exchange, you can spend 1 semester on exchange at the overseas partner. So you can choose to do either the short-term exchange or the long-term exchange, which is 1 full semester. So just like the internship, right, you can do a short or a long exchange. So you spend 1 semester or for the full semester exchange, and basically you take courses at your partner university, and the courses will get mapped back to NTU courses. So you will get credit for the courses you take overseas. Of course, obviously now the overseas exchange has been suspended because of the travel restrictions, but we will resume as soon as it is possible. So normally exchange anyway students do in the 3rd and 4th year, so hopefully by then the situation will allow for this. Okay, some of the partner universities that our students have gone to. On the top row, you see all the Korean universities. So for some reason, these Korean universities have been very, very popular. Actually, it's quite hard to get there, but we also have students going for exchange in other areas, just globally in China, UC Berkeley, UCLA, and Imperial College London. Okay, so with this, I thank you for your attention. I hope that you have benefited from this talk and it has given you a little bit more insight on our program, and I have hopefully convinced you of the benefits of our program. So I will pass the time back to MJ.
Thank you, Prof. Ng, for the really informative curriculum sharing. If you guys have any questions, please do send it in so that we may answer them during our Q&A session later on. Or you may also ask via MAS Telegram chat at NTU_math with AS. Next MA speaker of the day is Professor Nicholas Prevost, who will be sharing more about mathematics and finance. Oh, I just realized that the MAS acronym has a very strong monetary and financy vibe to it. What a coincidence. Prof. Prevost, please go ahead and enlighten us.
Okay, thanks. So yes, my name is Nicholas. I'm also in charge of coordinating our programs between our School of Physical and Mathematical Sciences and the Nanyang Business School. So that includes finance-related programs. So when it comes to finance, the situation is quite simple. Actually, finance is about prices. Prices are about numbers. Numbers are about mathematics. So finance is a lot about mathematics. So there are so many mathematical tools which can be used in finance. Here I have listed only a few of them: statistics, probability, because we have to manage uncertainty; computing, because it's all about getting the numbers right; differential equations, because we are interested in time evolution; and optimization, because of course we seek to maximize our wealth. And in recent years, you have heard, of course, about the new techniques such as machine learning, artificial intelligence, all for financial technology, cryptocurrencies, and so on. So as a mathematics student, the idea is that you can have an edge over the business students, because you can actually be born within mathematics, and from there it's much easier to go somehow downstream and to learn the finance and economics tools. Trying to do things the other way around, starting from business and then learning the necessary mathematical tools, can be actually much harder. So that gives more opportunities for our students, and I'm just listing at the bottom of this slide 3 programs that I'm going to discuss. So there's the minor in finance, there's the double major in mathematical sciences and economics, which has already been presented by Prof. Ng. And lastly, if you are interested in going to graduate studies, then we also have a special channel which allows our students to join the Master in Financial Engineering at the Business School. Talking about our faculty, so some of them have been mentioned already today, but those are the faculty members who are doing finance economics, and as you can see, always in a mathematical way, of course, and as you can see, they can also teach you about more cutting-edge techniques such as machine learning for finance, artificial intelligence, and so on. So you have Ariel Neufeld, Juan Pablo Ortega, who both joined us in recent years, and also Patrick Penn, also doing financial mathematics, who also joined us within the past few years. Okay, now very quickly, I will discuss the connection in a bit more detail, because I have mentioned this very quickly, connection between mathematics and finance. Here I'm only picking a sample of 3 of our courses. They are advanced courses. as you can see, you have 3 courses, you have 4 courses. Within the syllabus of every course, I'm simply going to pick one item. So first item, linear regression, that's a statistical technique. Second item, time series for financial modeling. And third item, assets and portfolio allocation. What are we going to do with that? Let us look at the data. So the data you can see here on our top left, 2 graphs of prices. KO stands for Coca-Cola, PEP stands for Pepsi. First thing we are going to do, we are going to apply linear regression because they are not on the same price ranges. As you can see, Coke ranges around $50. Pepsi is around 140. So not the same slope, not the same range. We are using linear regression. Now, the top right graph, which is circled in red now, we are putting them on the same range and same slope. And now we have a clearer vision of what can happen because the idea is they are on the same market segment. So they tend to evolve in the same direction, but at the same time, they are competitors. What can be good for Coke sometimes may not be good for Pepsi. So that's why sometimes you see the blue curve going up while the purple curve goes down. And the idea is that we can take advantage of this by using mathematical tools. We would sell the one which goes up and meanwhile buy back the one which goes down. And when the cycle changes, well, we switch our strategy. And here on this center graph at the bottom, I'm looking at the difference called the spread. And the spread will give us a signal of buy and sell to precisely implement this strategy. And the bottom line is the third graph on the bottom right, which tells us if you apply this smart buy and sell strategy, you will manage your portfolio just as the purple line. And the standard strategy will only give you the black line, which means you can really achieve a much higher performance. And I have been using linear regression, time series for the spread, and finally portfolio allocation to allocate my portfolio while maximizing my wealth. So that was a very short example of what can be done as an application of mathematics and statistics to finance. Okay, so I will end with a quick outlook on 2 possibilities for students who are interested in finance in our school. One of them, if you want to top up with additional financial courses from business teachers, then you can secure actually a seat in courses in the business school. So you might have been offered the minor in finance, which this will allow you to take courses in business finance, investments, and also a choice of 2 electives, which are listed on the screen. You can find the information online as well. And my last item will be the direct admission to the Master in Financial Engineering. So that program is actually offered by the Nanyang Business School. It's quite competitive. So the idea here is that instead of joining the crowd of applicants, that's hundreds of applicants every year for a limited number of seats, you can apply through our special channel and you can get evaluated by us if you are one of our students. That means we know you, we know your performance, we know your grades, and in that way we can select you to provide you admission into that program. You can also find related information online, and I guess that's my last slide already. Thanks.
Thank you, Prof. Prevost, for giving us insights on how mathematics and finance are related, and especially how it's actually very crucial to bring in the ka-ching. But I actually have a question for you. So I mentioned about my friend who studies statistical math, and she was able to predict some lottery or horse racing results. Does that actually happen in reality?
Yes, so in reality, the situation is like this. If your lottery operator claims that his lottery is fair, equal odds, 50-50 chances. And if this is actually true, then the mathematician can not help you, in fact. On the other hand, you have many games which appear fair or unbiased, and which yet are biased in some way. That means the chances are not 50-50, but maybe 49.9 and 50.1. In that case, the mathematician can help you design a good strategy, which can in fact maximize your gain, and a tiny difference in the odds, in the chances, can turn into a huge difference in gains or profit, in fact.
Wow, that's interesting. So you guys would like to learn more, you may consider joining NTU Math Division. All right. Thank you so much, Prof. Revolt. Next up, we have Ian, who will be sharing with us his undergraduate experience here in NTU's MAS division. It's good and fruitful and exciting for you, right?
Definitely one I would like to share with you guys. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's the live session, you cannot say otherwise.
Eh?
No, that's why he's here. It's positive experience. So, Ian, once you're ready, you may begin.
Sure. Thank you, MJ. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you guys enjoy your lunch. So I'll just share a bit more about myself and what I'm doing in school. So I'm actually a year 2 student going into year 3. I am doing the pure mathematics track and just a single major. So I'm actually in this SPMS Ambassadors Club, and I'm actually the assistant director for internal welfare. And also I'm also working like part-time as a math tutor also. So I mean there are options and we have enough time to work and study at the same time. So I'll just talk about when you come in. Of course, you guys are coming in really soon, and I'll share with you what I did for year 1. So when you come into SPMS, you can select 2 different types of camps. One of it is the Supremes camp. Notice how the SPMS are capitalized, quite cool. Then there's another one called the O Week, the freshman O Week. So you can choose between the 2, and I chose the Supremes camp. So when we first got together, we designed the flag. So this is my group, it's called NU. And this is the SPMS lobby where you guys will be at most of the time like studying or hanging out with friends. Then this is the photo where we took after the end of the camp. And we really like made new friends along the way. And I see them around in school very often. And sometimes some of them are even my like group project mates. And I'm really thankful for them. So of course, if you are a freshman, you will be allocated a hall, most likely allocated a hall for year 1 and year 2. So I'll share a bit more about my hall experience. I got posted to Tamarind Hall, which is one of the newer halls. They look like a condo, so it's really cool. And so the Tamarind as well has the hall camp, because back then it was 2019. So this hall camp, we held it at the beach at Sentosa. And we just played the games, and I got to know my hall mates, my neighbors basically. And then this was one of the photos where I had to move out because of the COVID situation. So we all had to go back home, and then all my luggage was there. And I really didn't want to go back home. And my room was so nice. But I'll be coming back soon, yeah. Then of course, if you're in hall, you can also participate in the recreational games or even like the sports games. So I chose for recreational games. And these are games like held like maybe end of the exams. So you'll be playing against like other halls and competing for prizes to see who is the best hall. So we call them IHRG. And I was in the contract bridge team for Tamarind. And we were very close, and we almost made the first place, but we got semi-finals. It's very close, but it was a good game. And I also joined the chess team, which was this was actually a few months ago, because this was during the COVID semester. And one thing I like about this is that NTU handled the situation really well. We had the competition online, and we played them on the computer. So it felt like almost a physical game, and they still managed to carry the event through. So I'm very happy that we were able to participate. So I'll talk more about this program. So SPMS, you can also join the SPMS club, which is more of like internal stuff, or SPMS ambassadors program, which is more of the external stuff. And you see all my friends on the Telegram, actually they are SPMS ambassadors as well. And we really want to make your freshman life a really welcoming experience. So I'm actually part of the core team, as like I said earlier. and we really design all, plan all the events for you guys to make sure, and we want to give you guys just welcome you guys in, and make sure everyone's aware of like what the program is and how to help you guys. So this is the core team where we had a Chinese New Year event, and then our photo shoot. Yeah. So if you join us, we'll see you guys in the SPMS ambassadors, or maybe just see you all in school. And of course, I've also been held as the MC for some of the events that we had. This was a tea party. I'm not sure if you guys were there. I can't see your faces anyways. So yeah, so this is the tea party held with my friend Dion. And I saw some of your faces there, and I really hope that I'll see you all in school. And then this is one of the games that we had. It's called the West Waldo game. And you can see all the other ambassadors were really interested in the game. They really wanted to win the prizes, yeah. So just to end off, I really want to say that, coming to uni is just a really new experience because you have 4 years of your life to do whatever you want and take whatever courses you want. And ultimately just make your life a full experience, because these 4 years are going to come back quickly. You're going to make new friends, and yeah. Thank you for your time. Yeah, I'll pass the time to MJ.
Thank you, Ian, for sharing with us your undergraduate experience. Hearing you speak reminds me of my own younger days when I'm young, wild, and free. And personally, my undergraduate days were some of the best days in my life, and I hope it will be the same for you guys as well. Last but not least, we have our last speaker, Associate Professor Andrew Cricker, who will be sharing more on mathematics and technology. So personally, I have not much knowledge about how these two aspects are related, but I would think something to do with coding or even AI, which are the hottest terms of the 20th century, apart from the word umbrage. Anyway, moving on. Prof. Cricker, the stage is all yours.
Hello. So thank you very much, MJ. So I'm just going to talk about one of the special focuses of our math department. And this is the relationship between mathematics and technology. So this slide I'm showing here, there it is. So this is Professor Ling San. So Ling San is the provost of NTU. So he's actually a mathematician, and he created our division 15 years ago. In 2005, and he was the first head of division. So when he created the division of mathematics, he had a special vision for the division. So he didn't want it to be strictly a traditional math department where you studied very theoretical ideas, and it was a very sort of abstract and internal sort of experience. Professor Ling San's idea was the following. So his vision was that the future of mathematics lies in the absolutely fundamental importance of mathematics in technology, and that MAS, while it should be built on strong mathematical foundations, we do very strong mathematics in MAS, but it should also be engaged with the modern world. So this is something more than just a traditional mathematics department. This is why it's called the Division of Mathematical Sciences. Okay. Now, a classic example of this relationship between mathematics and technology is the story of Google. So Google is one of the most successful business stories of the last few decades, actually. And it turns out that Google is not, strictly speaking, a computer science success story, but right at the heart of Google is a mathematics idea, a very short mathematics idea. The original paper is about 17 pages long. It's about a very simple mathematical topic called graph theory. And essentially the founders of Google had this nice idea for a way to use mathematics to produce a more satisfying search result. And this became the PageRank algorithm, and it's the heart of Google, and it all starts with mathematics. So this is something that we've been concentrating on from the very beginning of our division, is this relationship between mathematics and computer science. So two things to say is that these two topics are very deeply connected. So some parts of mathematics look very much like computer science and vice versa. These are very, very deeply intertwined disciplines.
And the second thing to say is that they strengthen each other. When you study mathematics and computer science together, which you would do if you either take our double major or even in our standard degrees, there's a very strong emphasis on the relationship between mathematics and computer science. When you take those two topics together, you get something that is stronger than those topics individually. So, yeah, so maybe a good example of this kind of story is this gentleman here. So I guess in an ordinary year, I could ask the audience, does anyone know who this happy billionaire is? So does anyone, how about my colleagues? Does anyone know who this is?
Eric Yuan, Zoom CEO.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you, thank you, MJ. So this man is the founder of Zoom, Eric Yuan, and I guess, so, you know, 2 years ago, none of us knew what Zoom was, but now we all know what Zoom is. And actually, the interesting thing is his training is as a mathematician. So his undergraduate degree was in applied mathematics with a minor in computer science. And fascinatingly, so after that, he actually went on and did a master's in geology engineering. And I think his story is wonderful because it just illustrates that mathematics is just a foundation. It's something that enables many different career possibilities after you study mathematics. It doesn't limit you at all. When you study mathematics, you're not limited to becoming a teacher. It's a skill that's, you know, it's a very basic skill that you can use in almost any field of the modern world. So yeah, so that's Eric Yuan. So I'm just going to introduce some of our faculty members who are involved in this kind of work. So this fresh-faced young professor is Nanyang Assistant Professor Bei Xiao Hui. So he works in social network analysis. So, and in algorithmic game theory, which is the mathematics of internet auctions. So every time, for example, that you would go onto Amazon, every part of your experience, there's going to be mathematics behind the scenes there. When Amazon chooses which books to recommend to you, what prices to put on books, these are all automated mathematical algorithms at the heart. So Professor Bei Xiaohui is an expert in that kind of thing. This is Assistant Professor Li Yi, who we hired from Facebook. So we have those skills in our faculty. So he works with algorithms for massive data sets. So this picture here is a picture of a data center. So for example, Google has a massive data center, very short drive from NTU, 5 minutes down the road in Jurong West, and every part of the data center is going to use very deep mathematics, not just computer science, but mathematical ideas. So another big focus in our division is in the mathematics of communication. Now there are two parts to this story that we focus on. The first is cryptography, and the second is coding theory. So cryptography, you probably all have some idea about what cryptography is. Cryptography is like ensuring your internet banking is secure, is a cryptographic problem, for example. Now, the interesting thing for mathematicians is that the algorithms that secure your internet banking are actually very classical, pure mathematical algorithms. So the sort of maths that Professor Chan was talking about earlier actually underlies the securing of internet transactions. This very classical study of number theory, which maybe several hundred years ago it seemed like it would never have any application. But like almost all mathematics, surprisingly, there is some fundamental application that eventually comes out of it. So that's cryptography, and this here is a Doge coin, very much in the news recently. So cryptocurrencies is another example of something that's very current. Not necessarily a good thing, but a very current topic in the world. And essentially, cryptocurrencies, from beginning to end, is a mathematical story. The design and you know, the fact that these things can exist, come back to mathematical facts. Now, coding theory. Coding is a word that there's two meanings to it. So one meaning of coding is programming. So that in this context, when I talk about coding, I'm talking about a different use. So coding theory is the mathematical theory of communicating reliably. So for example, when you're in some noisy situation. So coding theory is very interesting pure mathematics, a lot of interesting abstract mathematical structures. And for example, in the technology behind mobile phones, there's going to be very extensive use of this theory. So just to illustrate something about coding theory, this picture, this beautiful picture, is one of the moons of Neptune. So this is a picture that was sent from the far edge of the solar system in 1977 by, by modern standards, a very primitive spacecraft, Voyager 2. And the power source behind Voyager 2 is roughly the same as a toaster. But somehow this very primitive, very low-powered spacecraft managed to send this beautiful picture 4.5 billion kilometers back to Earth. So, how did it manage to do that? Send this, this beautiful picture, this vast distance over space. And it turns out this is an application of coding theory. So coding theory is the mathematics of being able to communicate. I mean, this is a very sort of extreme example of it, but it's the mathematics of being able to communicate reliably in many different situations. So there's two related problems here. Coding theory has to, use mathematics to help you understand if an error has occurred in your communication, and if an error has indeed occurred, how do you fix that error? Okay. So that's coding theory. So we actually have, I think it was already mentioned by Prof. Chan, the gentleman on the left is Professor Ling San, the provost of NTU. So he is a coding theorist. And as I said, when he started our division, he had this vision of technology, mathematics, and now he's the provost of NTU. So he's continuing this vision to the very highest point in the university. And he started this group, this coding and cryptography group, and it's a very strong group of researchers. So it's very world class. So any students, any of you who are interested in this topic, you could, it'd be very normal if you joined us to take research projects with some of these researchers. So you can work on the very cutting edge topics in cryptography with some of the leading researchers in the world. So I guess I'll just mention one more topic, and it's been mentioned a few times by my colleagues, and this is these very hot topics of data science, artificial intelligence, machine learning. So NTU has been acknowledged in many different places to be one of the very strongest universities in the world in these topics. So just as a simple example, I mentioned at the bottom of this slide that there's this citation ranking, which means how often researchers around the world mention NTU's research in their own work. And NTU, for a period of 4 years, was the strongest university in the world in this citation ranking. So, and there's many other measures of this. There are many researchers working at NTU who are extremely well regarded in their own fields, have won prizes and such things. Now, what I want to say here is that we have these beautiful topics. There's the beautiful leaves of this tree, but this tree doesn't exist without the trunk of the tree. And the trunk of the tree is mathematics and also computer science. So these topics, these beautiful topics, ultimately come back to fundamental mathematical fields like statistics. So if you want to get into these topics on the deepest level, you can do them superficially. You can work with apps and programs, but if you want to get into them on the deepest level, understand them completely, there's no option. You have to get into mathematics or computer science. So just as an illustration of one of our faculty working in this topic. So this dapper young professor is Professor Xiao Kelin. and he works in data. And what he does is he brings mathematical ideas, geometry, something called topology. I'm a topologist, which is the study of the shapes of things. So he brings these topics into his analysis, and he, together with computer science tools, the two of these things together, and he uses them to bring out features in data sets. So a classic example of how this sort of thing is applied is like facial recognition in social networks. But that's just a small example of the sort of applications. Okay, so I'm just going to finish with a few, well, so I'm just going to show you a few of our researchers working in this topic. So this is Professor Ariel Neufeld. So he works in applying some of these things in the context of finance, already been mentioned by Professor Privot. This is one of our recent hires. We're very proud of this researcher. He'll be a leader for us in the future. This is Professor Juan Pablo Ortega. So he works in machine learning in the context of dynamic processes. So applying them to do machine learning for things that move. And for example, he is collaborating with NTU's robotics research center to bring mathematics. So he's bringing the mathematics, he's bringing the machine learning, and they're bringing the engineering, and together they create something special. Now, how can we prepare for these fields? So yeah, my colleagues have introduced some of these things already, but just to quickly recap, if you want to get involved in this stuff, you want to work in robotics or cryptography, there's many different ways of doing that within our division, okay, which is focused on these topics. So one of the ways would be to take this Bachelor of Science in Data Science and Artificial Intelligence. This is a concentrated program which is concentrated on these topics. So Forbes has named this just this year in its top 10 for courses for programs of this nature. And of course, there's the double science in mathematics and computer science. So this is a comprehensive program in these two disciplines for a small cohort of talented and ambitious students. So I teach many of these students. I teach first year linear algebra. If you come, then I will be your first year lecturer. And I teach many of these students, and these are very special students, very creative, very focused on doing interesting things, a very strong sense of cohort. And even if you don't take one of our special programs, our main programs are designed to be very flexible. It is possible, even if you don't take a special double major or something like that, it is actually possible to use our main programs to create a course of study to target a particular goal in your studies. So thank you very much. So I'm gonna that's my time. So I shall finish there. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. Cricker, for the really interesting sharing. I especially like the Dogecoin. When it first came out, I almost bought it because I thought it was so funny. Oh, I didn't. Please don't follow me. Yes. Now let us move on to our Q&A segment where we answer all of your burning questions. And I hope you guys did ask some questions along the way. If not, it will be a really awkward situation for me. Is there? Ooh, there's a lot of questions. Okay, we'll try our very best to answer all of them. So first question of the day by Anonymous. All right, they are mostly anonymous anyway. Would taking up a double major program be more or less the same as taking two single majors in terms of exposure to knowledge? Perhaps either Prof. Chan or...
Well, yeah, I can answer that.
Okay.
So first of all, there's no option in which you can take two single majors at NTU. But if you're just comparing, I think the question is basically asking, just hypothetically, how does the content of a double major compare with two separate single majors? So for a double major program, if you notice from the websites, I'm not sure if you've checked it out, the double major program is not actually twice as long or twice as many courses. The content is not actually twice as many courses as two single majors. So there are the program itself is of course designed to keep the number of units you have to take manageable and realistic. So it's not like you have to spend 4 + 4, 8 years on a double major program. No, it's not like that. So yeah, so there will be some overlaps. There will be some special courses that you may have to take or not have to take. So yeah, it's a different design, I would say. But of course, all of these double major programs have gone through lots of thought, and we have designed them so that you will actually have realistically balancing between the number of courses you have to take as well as the content. We have tried to balance as much as possible so that when you take the double major program, you actually will get the benefits of actually taking 2 single major programs. So I think that's kind of the short and without going into too much details, the answer to that.
Thank you, Prof. Ng. So basically, it's like instead of A plus B equals to AB, it's like A plus B equals to C, right? Okay, okay, never mind. Moving on to the next question. If I do well for my first year, can I take on a second major in, say, computer science in my second year? I'll open this to the floor. Anyone can answer it?
I'll take this question.
All right.
So I just assume, let's say in the first year, you are admitted as a single major mathematical science student. And then you did very well, and you like to apply, and you like to be in the double major mathematical and computer science program. So you can apply. It's not automatic. You can apply, and we'll evaluate your application based on how well you've done for the mathematical sciences and the computing program courses. And also, we will need to know what courses you have taken in the first year, because we need to make sure that you can complete. If we let you into the double major program, we need to evaluate to make sure that you are able to complete your program, your degree, in 4 years. Yeah, so the short answer is yes, you can apply. It's not guaranteed, but we'll evaluate your application.
So it's case by case.
Yes, it is.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Chan. Next question. Do students who take double major programs receive an honors degree at the end of 4 years too? Huh? You've not received one. Anyway, let's answer that question seriously. Prof. Ng, will you like to answer it?
Okay, so let me think that. So yes, so all of our programs are direct honors. So that means that unlike maybe some other programs which are not direct honors, you may have to do an additional 4th year which consists of honors courses. So our programs are not like that. So the honors is direct, meaning that whether or not you receive an honors and what your class of honors is going to be depends just on your graduating CGPA, as well as a couple of other requirements. But yeah, so you will just do the same. Basically, the requirements are the same as for everybody, whether or not you get an honors degree.
Thank you, Prof. Ng. Hope that's answered your question. Okay, next question. Is hall compulsory for freshmen? Also, how much do we have to pay for hall? Oh, for this question, probably we will get Ian to answer. Shall we? So we're going to rope him in. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, you guys did not see that. Hi, Ian is here.
Hi everyone. I applied for hall during year 1. Before you go in, you can apply for a hall, and when you apply, it's kind of random. The slots are random. Unless you know some people in the hall, then they can rope you into the hall that you like. It is not compulsory, but I think it's a very worthwhile experience in hall, because, like I said, you can make many friends in hall, and also with hall you can travel. The traveling to school is a lot easier. I can wake up at 8 o'clock and my lectures at 8:30. I can make it on time. So it's just more of the convenience. As for the fees wise, you can check them out on the website. I believe NTU has the NTU hall application website, and there are different prices for each hall depending on whether it's single room, double room, whether it's air conditioned or not. Some halls even have a suite, so if you are up for that, then yeah, you can apply for those. Of course, they are still all random, and you can only select them after your first year of a hall. Yeah.
Thank you, Ian. Next question. from Sam. Sam asked, I'm from Poly. Will I be at a disadvantage compared to students from JC who have good math background when taking a math degree? Perhaps the lecturers, any of you could answer, like, do you have students from both Poly and JC? Are the Poly kids at an advantage? Disadvantage?
Yeah, well, maybe I'll just make a comment about this, that if I think of the end results and the kind of achievements that the Poly students have at the end of their degree, I can think of many examples where some of our most successful graduates started with us from the Polys. So I can think at the moment, for example, I can think of a PhD student who's just started in the division who came from Polys. And also there was another student we had a few years ago who now has a very successful career working in a hedge fund on Shenton Way, and he also originally came from the Poly. So I think my feeling is that for some students who come from Polys, those first year courses can be a bit of a challenge. But when you look at it from the perspective of the end of the degree, then from my point of view, they seem to do just as well as other students in the group. And the other thing to say is we have a lot of support infrastructure in our first year courses. So we have this maths clinic that starts pretty early in the semester, and students can go to the maths clinic and get consultations with senior students. And we have many sort of structures like this in place, and we have a very strong support group in the school, in the chair's office in the school with struggling students. And I think from the point of view of the end of the degree, almost every student is successful in getting to grips with these challenges. So yeah, I think it is sometimes for these students it is a little bit more challenging. But usually these students get to grips with these challenges. So
that was really well said. Any of you guys would like to add on?
Yes, I would add that somehow for me, entering to university is resetting things for everyone. So in a sense, everyone starts on a new ground because it's a new environment, and ultimately it depends on the effort you put in, sometimes even more than from where you come from.
Thank you so much. Personally, as a JC student, right, there's really no difference, because once you enter uni, it's a whole new ball game, and everyone's struggling together as a whole blob of struggling students. So no, you won't be at a disadvantage, at least not for the foreseeable future. As when you enter your year 3 and year 4, everyone is working hard together. Okay, moving on to our next question. Hi, will we be learning C++ language for programming? Oh my goodness, I hope I said that correctly. Perhaps Prof. Ang would like to take.
Okay, that's a good question. The C++ language is a very, very traditional language. It is, of course, very powerful, and a lot of applications uses it. However, our curriculum actually used to have C++ language as a compulsory course, but after a revamp, we have replaced it with Python, because that is a more user-friendly and a more accessible and also very emerging to be a very popular language to be used. So C++ nowadays is a little bit more specialized. So in our curriculum, we don't have C++, but of course under the unrestricted electives, you are free to choose. If you are interested in learning about C++ or any other language, you can use your unrestricted electives to take these courses. Our brother school, the School of Computer Science and Engineering, do run courses on C++. So yeah, you can actually take courses from them.
Thank you, Prof. Ang. Okay, moving on to the next question. I am interested in the actuarial science field, and I'm curious as to which specialization is more relevant to that field. Okay, I don't know the answer, but I'm opening this to the floor. Anyone would like to take this question?
Okay.
All right.
So the simple answer is, first of all, statistics, because actuarial science is about managing, controlling, handling, and estimating, quantifying risks, and this is done with statistics. And the second one is, of course, machine learning and artificial intelligence. That's my short answer.
Yeah, okay, so just to add on, again, coming back to the flexibility and customization that you are allowed, you can also use your electives, your unrestricted electives, also to take courses from the business school. I believe the business school has got a couple of courses related to actual science because they actually have accreditation for that. So yeah, so you can use, I mean, if you are interested in the actual field but you want to learn, but you want to do a math program, of course, you can, of course, again, use your options to customize your education.
Thank you, Prof. Ng and Prof. Revolt. Our next question seems to be related as well. Will a Bachelor in Math Science exempt me from any actuary exams? Or which track do you recommend to prepare for an actuary career? I guess. Would you like to answer that again?
So formally, no. It does help you definitely if you want to take the actuary exams, the certifications, and so on, because sometimes the curriculum is very close, so that's a very good preparation, but no exemption, I would say.
Yeah, because the actuarial exams are actually separate. It's a separate body that they are, so we don't have this automatic exemption.
Okay, so answer short and sweet, no. Thank you, profs. Let's move on to our next question. From Sam again. I heard that internships are compulsory for students now. Will NTU help students to source for internship? Ooh. Perhaps.
Okay. Well, Sam has a lot of problems. So, yes, internships are compulsory now. You are correct. So we, as I've mentioned, we have a very strong, a very capable office called the Careers Attachment Office, which is in charge of helping students to match and so-called source for internships. Now, there are basically two ways you can get an internship. You can either apply to the CAO, the career office, and then they will help you to match this internship. Or you can, it's actually quite popular, quite common for students to take this second way, which is to self-source internship. So if you write in, send in your own resume to a company, you know, whatever company you're interested in, you try your luck, and if you manage to get them to agree to take you on, then you can actually send your proposal to the career office, and then they will take over to do the rest. So you can either get something from the career office, or you can self-source for yourself internship, which is actually quite a lot of students do this.
Thank you, Prof. Ng. I think internships are really a valuable experience to have, so not a bad thing actually to make it compulsory. Moving on to our next question. What are the other possible minor programs we can choose aside from economics or computer science? Not sure if this has been mentioned in the slides, but you can recap it again. Anyone would like to take the
We
question?
mentioned the minor in finance, which is actually different from economics. So we do have the minor in finance.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
Papa Ng.
yeah, sorry, because me again. So the like what Professor Prevost has said, yes, the minor of finance is a little bit special because the minor of finance is so first of all, let me just say that the minor programs is actually most of minor programs are not competitive. So that means that after you are matriculated, you become a student at NTU, you can actually just declare a minor program that you would like to have. So the short answer is you can actually choose a minor from almost every division. So you can have a minor in sports science, for example, minor in psychology, minor in chemistry. Of course, if you cannot have a minor in mathematics, of course. But apart from this, yeah, you can have a minor in almost any major program can be taken as a minor. Now there are several exceptions. So for example, like what Professor Prevost has said, the minor in finance is actually the only way to get a minor in finance is to do a minor in finance with us, because that was one of the agreements that we had with the business school. Yeah, but apart from that, yeah, you can basically do a minor in anything else except for your major subject.
I might just add something to that. So earlier we were talking about this idea that mathematics is a foundation for many different fields, and then you can you can then use your mathematics foundation to go into different fields. So what I actually see many students do is they take our mathematics degree and then they take a minor in some subject they have a strong interest in. And then often these students will actually go on to further studies in that specialized subject. And so having the mathematics as the foundation skills, taking a minor in something else, and then you can go into that, this is a way of moving towards some topic with a really strong foundation in theoretical skills. So I can just think of two examples. I had a student many years ago who did our pure mathematics track and did a minor in linguistics. And then after he did this, I mean, he loved languages, he did a minor in linguistics, and then after this he went and did a PhD in computer science at the University of Texas, working in natural language processing. So these two things came together beautifully. So that's one example. Another example I can think of is our valedictorian a few years ago she was a pure mathematician, so she did the pure maths because she loved pure mathematics. It's what she was strong at. She was never going to have this chance again in her life to study pure mathematics, in this environment. But at the same time, she added onto the side of her pure mathematics, she added a minor in biology. And it was quite amusing because she topped every single biology course she took. Because she had such strong analytical skills from the mathematics, every biology course she took, she was the top student in the group. And then after, she went on to Duke NUS Medical School. She took a medical degree, and she's doing research in medical technology now. So this is kind of typical. This is what you should be imagining when you think about mathematics. It's a sort of foundational. It teaches you to think. It's a sort of foundational set of analytical skills, which you can take somewhere else, and then when you take it somewhere else, you can be very strong in that other field. So, okay.
Thank you, Prof. Cricker. Okay, our next question from Jacqueline. What kind of jobs require a master's in math other than academia? Prof. Chan, I'll arrow you because you're very quiet.
Okay. Yeah, I think actually it's not very common for a job to require a master's in mathematics. Usually, people do it for interest, or it could be an intermediate step before they want to do a PhD, either locally with us or elsewhere. Because in terms of if you want a job, usually a bachelor's degree is good enough, especially if you get a good honors pass with your bachelor's degree. And then otherwise, if you want to do research, then you go on to do a PhD. For example, I have a bachelor's and I have a PhD. I have no master's. Okay.
Okay. Can I ask Prof. Chan a follow-up question to that? If we replace the word masters with PhD, what's the answer?
That's a good question.
Yeah. So I would say besides academia, there are jobs, for example, in securities, computer security jobs. They are required because they need. They need to know that you are able to do deep thinking, able to analyze mathematically and understand the math behind some of these algorithms and cryptographies. So they want me to have at least a PhD in mathematics.
Thank you, Prof. Chan. Next question. Could you give some book examples or resources for first year semester 1 courses? I can answer that one for you. Google, that's number one. But of course, profs, you guys can add on to my really good advice of using Google.
Well, I guess I'm a first year Sem 1 lecturer, so I guess I should answer that. And I think our MC has given the perfect answer that you should use Google. I mean, the mathematics curriculum has evolved over hundreds of years and has sort of settled into very standard things, and Wikipedia is actually an excellent maths resource these days because it's a sort of a community effort. Wikipedia is at some point is going to replace most math textbooks, I think. But so these topics are fairly standard. So the most important thing, if you're thinking about preparing for first year, if that's what you're targeted on, You should find out what's in the first year courses. So you should search on our own website. This information is all available on our website. And then these topics are kind of standard. So try multiple sources. There's very first year courses. There's going to be very clear explanations of some of these topics on YouTube. There's most of the university textbooks are actually very sort of similar. So yeah, there's many different ways of approaching it. And the other comment I have to make there is I'm not necessarily sure this is what you should be doing, to be honest, to be preparing for your first year courses. Maybe a little bit, but you know what I really like in a student is curiosity, following the things they like themselves, working out what they like themselves, expanding their knowledge. Every time I do a scholarship interview with a student, I try and find out, are they just following the curriculum, or are they reading stuff outside the curriculum? Are they trying to discover things beyond what is in the standard knowledge? These are the most important criteria I look for in scholarship interviews. So I don't necessarily think you should be preparing for your first year courses, maybe a little bit, but you should be reading stuff and just this is a chance before your expectations arrive in the university. So.
Nicely said, Prof. Cricker. Okay, we will be moving on to our last question. How will taking the pure math track benefit me in my career pathway to DSAI? Pure math, Prof. Chan.
So DSAI is referring to data science and artificial intelligence, right? So I would say more likely you might not be taking the pure math track, but probably the applied math track, and then taking courses that are related to coding and cryptography, and then some of the finance courses also. Because some of the statistics courses, because another term for artificial intelligence is machine learning. So these are courses that actually will benefit you more, but rather than to take pure math courses that are really pure and less related to data science, artificial intelligence. Any of my colleagues want to add on to that?
I'm also a pure mathematician, and I think what he says is absolutely correct. But also, I think in many careers in mathematics, it actually doesn't matter what you study at undergraduate level. If you love pure mathematics, this is your chance to get into it deeply. And I don't think it's going to harm your chances of getting into a data science career differently to someone who's on the statistics track. If you love pure mathematics, then the pure maths track is where you're going to be getting good answers. I mean, good results where you're going to be passionate about the work, and I think that's just as important.
Thank you, Prof. Cricket.
I would add that no one knows what the future is made of. The new technologies from the future, they will take their roots, I believe, in pure mathematics and in the broader foundation of pure mathematics, which can give answers, unexpected answers. So I think it's important to strengthen the foundations in that sense.
Thank you, Prof. Unfortunately, our session is coming to a close. So that's all we have for SPMS MAS E-Open House. If you guys do have any more questions or you have any unanswered questions, you may do your questions to MAS Telegram chat at NTU_math with AS. Also, don't forget to scan this QR code that you're seeing on your screen right now for a feedback survey form to let us know what you think about SPMS E-Open House program. You may also check out the official SPMS website for a 3D virtual tour of the SPMS building. Thank you all for joining us this afternoon. I hope you enjoyed this session as much as I did. Goodbye! Just keep thinking!